Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In fact, some of you could actually be coming from my newest collaboration with fellow Zeldatuber Nehru, and if you are, then I hope you enjoy this video. Today I'll be discussing exactly how Gerudo Desert from Breath of the Wild could be expanded on in this sequel. If you enjoy Zelda content, then please do sub to the channel. Anyway, with all of that said, let's get into the video. Personally speaking, I thought that the Gerudo Desert present in Breath of the Wild was extremely lackluster and lacked any real atmosphere beyond, well, just that damn sandstorm that plagues the bottom corner of the map until the area is fully explored. So in general, I found it bland and barren to any real content barring the 4 shrines that are seen, along with Gerudo Town and Korokoro Bazaar, though I will say that the Sandseals were a pleasant surprise to the animal companion lineup in the Legend of Zelda series. With Breath of the Wild 2 looking to change the world map that was already used in the first game, that begs the question, how could Gerudo Desert really be changed in the second game? And truthfully, I have no solid ideas from the top of my head, but I can speculate, and to be honest, the teaser trailer us Zelda fans have sat analysing for the past year at least gave us some clues to what we could see in the sequel, in the desert that must have once birthed Ganondorf himself. My first idea takes a lot of inspiration from the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser trailer, and a lot from the first game's map in general, and it's probably a theory that a lot of you have probably already heard, but I find it necessary to cover all of my bases when talking on the sequel to Breath of the Wild, as literally any theory could be correct at this point, considering everyone and their mother has made a theory video concerning the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and its dungeons. I mean, I didn't, look what it got me. Anyway, in that video I discussed the possibility that in the sequel we could see the Arbiter's grounds, first seen in Twilight Princess, out of its buried crypt and flying high above the sky, much like it seems Hyrule Castle might do at the end of the teaser trailer. If so, then we could see the Gerudo fortifying the outsides of the Gerudo Desert, making it even harder to let Yiga clan members and enemies in, leaving Link to prove his identity through any means. As we've seen in past games, and even Breath of the Wild itself, the Gerudo tribe seem to be very cautious when it comes to outsiders, so an even larger focus on fortifying the Gerudo Desert would make some sense for the Gerudo tribe's progression over the years, especially since they literally used to own a fortress back in the era of time. Either way, as I said, this seems kinda likely, but people don't want to hear about this, so let me talk about my own personal theories that I came up with just for this video. So then, my first personal theory is that we could see a more advanced Gerudo tribe in the next game. The Gerudo have always seemed to be very old-fashioned with the way that they do stuff. They still torture others, they wait for one leader, being the male that's born every now and then in the tribe. They basically live on their own terms in the desert. To be honest, they're old-fashioned for a reason. If you live in the desert, there's absolutely no way that you're going to progress with the rest of humanity. Especially considering the Hylian royal family obviously hasn't had a great history with the Gerudo tribe, with Ganondorf being born into the tribe so many different times, and also just the royal family's lack of love or trust with anyone, not even the Sheikah who helped them defeat Calamity Ganon 10,000 years ago. Either way, this again is smidge tangential, and I feel like I must get back on some sort of track. As previously established, the Gerudo tribe are shown to be very old-fashioned in living. Though in Breath of the Wild you can see the Gerudo making fairly exquisite jewellery, but goddamn do they make you pay a ton for that stuff. It just feels as if the Gerudo are due a real change up in the series. Perhaps even the Divine Beast Vanna Boris could drop while walking after some time of service, and they could scavenge parts of the beast, then furthering the development of the Gerudo tribe. I personally would love to see an advanced Gerudo race in future installments. If the Zelda team decide to further the timeline past the next game, then I'd love to see the Gerudo tribe evolve even quicker than even the Sheikah or the Hylians, as it would be amazing to get a new take on them. Maybe even seeing a glimpse of a futuristic Zelda game through the eyes of the Gerudo. But, to be honest, I feel like the Zelda team will not do this. It's way too cool and it will change up the entirety of the race past the next game. But you know what? I can dream. Okay, so here's my last genuine thought on this. As you may have seen if you're an avid viewer of Breath of the Wild 2 speculation, a lot of people are booking on the idea that the hero and princess of Wilds could actually be going back in time for their newest adventure. Most of this speculation is based on the fact that no Sheikah technology has been seen in the newest game yet, though this is just a teaser and may not represent the final game. So we'll have to see on that front. Point is, if this game does have a time mechanic and has Link travelling back in time, then perhaps we could see an even lesser version of Gerudo Town, which I'd be less inclined to see personally, but would still be a change from the same morals and tribe that we've seen since the likes of the Ocarina of Time. Thinking about it, it's really weird exactly how many Zelda games actually don't feature the Gerudo tribe. I feel like I've barely seen them, so seeing an even lesser version would still be an improvement over most Zelda games in my eyes. A lesser version of the Gerudo, as we all know, could be one that is actually ruled by Ganondorf himself. If we go back in time to when he was the ruler of all Gerudo, we could definitely see this. A tyrant leader whose only goal or the goal is similar to that of the Wind Waker Ganondorf. So he and his people can finally be treated fairly, so that the winds bring happiness rather than death. This could give the player a certain level of respect for the Gerudo male, and may even make some players root for Ganon. Truthfully, I really don't think that we could see a lesser Gerudo tribe. Especially not one ruled by Ganon, as that would be way too cool for the Zelda team to do. Call me a pessimist, but if Ganon was a tyrant leader, there would have to be a giant war waged somewhere in the game. And like I said, there's no way they could do something that cool in a Zelda game, but who knows. As an aside, I would love to see a giant war in the middle of Hyrule field between the Gerudo and the Hylians. But anyway, let's actually end this video. So then, what are your thoughts? How do you think the Zelda team will represent the Gerudo and the Gerudo Desert in the upcoming sequel to Breath of the Wild? Comment your thoughts down below as I see all of your opinions, and most of the time I agree with almost every single one of you. Please go and follow my Instagram and Twitter on screen right now and in the description, and if you happen to go to my Twitter then please do go and join my Discord server through the pinned comment, as we're slowly growing an amazing server over there. I also just uploaded a video with Neighbor as mentioned at the start of the video. So please do go and check that out if you have the time, as that video took everything out of me. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, then can you please leave a like rating and subscribe right now? It helps me out a ridiculous amount, and you get at least a slither of content every week over the months leading to Breath of the Wild 2's release. So please do subscribe if you enjoyed. So with all of that said and done finally, I hope all of you amazing people have an equally amazing week. Stay safe, and I'll be back with my weekly stuff next week.